In the class next to Ibuki, a mysterious girl arrived, causing the whole school to be so curious that they all had to go and see. The girl was referred to as a model, a cutie, and a barrage of questions followed. They asked how she maintained her figure and if she had a boyfriend, which the latter caused the transfer to respond. With a cute expression and a mischievous smile, the girl, Nakajima, told the crowd that it was a secret. The look drove everyone wild, and they began to make sweet comments about her, and the curiosity just built up more and more around Nakajima. Meanwhile, Kido Ibuki was just trying to survive and understand the situation, and just parroted the similar vibes that the others around him gave out. But that's how he's always lived, on the social edge from everyone else. Just then, Nakajima glanced over at the Gago boys, causing them all to react except for Ibuki. He could only think that she clearly couldn't be looking at him, as he's unpopular, a socially inept guy, while she was the center of attention. But he was wrong, as Nakajima had approached him and was playfully hitting him while making noises herself like a childish prank, and Ibuki could do nothing but awkwardly take it. But after that encounter, Nakajima began to stalk Ibuki, watching him from around corners and even following him home, all culminating in her forcing her way into the elevator with him, terrifying him. Ibuki yelled out a question, and that was, what did he do wrong that caused this interaction? He remarked that he's never interacted before with her, but that comment only got a pout from Nakajima. She told him that he should have noticed something already, but since he hasn't, he's an idiot. Ibuki then recalled who Nakajima was by how she insulted him, but asked if it really was her. Last he recalled, she had moved to the US years before. To his surprise, she admitted that she was, while blushing with embarrassment. Ibuki then blurted out that he couldn't believe it was her, as she'd changed so much compared to how she once was anyway. But this comment only caused Nakajima to get defensive and cover her chest, questioning his words. Out of embarrassment, Nakajima called out an attack move and began to slap the crap out of him, attempting to get him to not look at her blushing face. Ibuki could only bask in the glow of nostalgia from Nakajima's return, as she was his only best friend. As they went on towards Ibuki's apartment, Nakajima announced that she had a souvenir for him from America. It was revealed to be a stereotypical tourist gift of a dragon holding a katana, and Ibuki was surprised that a trinket like this was a thing in the USA. Nakajima referenced that she remembered that Ibuki liked dragons, so that's why she got him the gift, causing Ibuki to question her thoughts of him. Stepping away from Ibuki, Nakajima couldn't help but do a happy dance, accidentally admitting that she had the same trinket as him in the process. Ibuki couldn't help but think that, on the inside, Nakajima was still the same girl that he once knew. Trying to reconnect with Nakajima once more, he asked how school in America was. Nakajima then blatantly admitted that she had no opinion of it since she never spoke the entire time, shocking Ibuki. Ibuki then realized that Nakajima might be in trouble since her growth may be stunted due to the lack of socialization. But Ibuki's thoughts were interrupted when Nakajima asked why he was being so distant when they were best friends reunited. Nakajima then teased that Ibuki must have started seeing her as a girl now, and that's a pervy thought, before listing off lecherous things like hand-holding and staring into each other's eyes. Ibuki could only think that he had a bigger worry than how he saw her, and that her standard for pervy was way too low. However, Nakajima lost her patience and asked if he stopped liking her and why his energy is so low. Getting frustrated himself, Ibuki yelled back at Nakajima that if she just wants him to act like he used to, then he'll do just that. Acting like a kid again, Ibuki did a light strike against Nakajima, but instead of a playful giggle, she accidentally let out a moan and turned red. Both instantly flinched as they realized they messed up, but in different ways. While Nakajima covered her mouth, Ibuki tried to play it all off, inquiring if Nakajima's sides had weakened over time. Despite being wholly embarrassed, Nakajima claimed that she erected a barrier so his attack didn't count and now she's invincible to attacks. Ibuki could only think that she was making it all up on the spot. He called out her cheating, but thought that too could use those childish moves. He declared a piercing attack, but Nakajima said that it didn't pass her barrier. Ibuki, surprised, couldn't help but feel nostalgic about the whole moment. Ibuki could only laugh at the absolute absurdity of the situation, causing Nakajima to stop and blush at the sight of a happy Ibuki. As a smile formed on her face from it all, Ibuki asked what the matter was, and Nakajima could only chuckle in response. With a warm expression, Nakajima admitted that she's happy that she finally got to see Ibuki's long-lost genuine smile that he used to have so often. The comment made Ibuki think, while Nakajima admitted that she noticed and knew that he'd been forcing himself at school. Ibuki admitted that he was only doing what he had to survive socially in school, but when Nakajima asked if he actually liked what he was doing, Ibuki could only think that he's actually been ignoring his own feelings. In a state of despair, Ibuki admitted that he doesn't even know what he likes anymore. Upon hearing that, Nakajima tackled him and pinned him down, declaring that when it's just them, she wants him to be himself, but something else also. She wants Ibuki to be with her for eternity, to play together until they're old and grey. The confession surprised Ibuki and he was left silenced. Ibuki then recalled a childhood memory of himself crying and Nakajima coming to the rescue, proclaiming that she'll beat up all of Ibuki's bullies, so he should stop crying and come play with her. The memory made Ibuki smile, and Nakajima asked for his answer, but he gave a vague one, causing Nakajima to begin poking him again, while he realized how lost he had become in his life. Ibuki then came to the conclusion that being with people who match your vibe is the best, and that is what happiness truly is. And if that meant play fighting with Nakajima, then that's what happiness is. With a smile and hope, Ibuki declared that a new beginning starts tomorrow, while Nakajima agreed in a slightly tsundere way. Arriving at Ibuki's apartment, Nakajima surprisingly announced that she's now his neighbor since she moved in next door, completely catching Ibuki off guard. Nakajima wished him farewell and slammed the door, but Ibuki wasn't sad. But the opposite was true, as he thought about now both school and home being more fun, and the thought of it was very enticing. But he heard a bunch of noises next door and laughing, catching his full attention. Believing no one could hear her, Nakajima began to act like her true self, gushing over the fact that she saw Ibuki once again and exploding with joy. Ibuki realized that Nakajima was doing the reaction of the class clown from their old school. As he thought about how she used to visit him all the time, he couldn't help but hear her monologue crystal clear. However, what Ibuki didn't expect was Nakajima talking about how worried she was about his situation at school. She also admitted why she was so quiet and reserved at school. Her Japanese is still baby-like, so she was concerned that she'd weird the others out. Keeping the barrage of surprises coming, Nakajima then admitted that she actually had confessed her feelings to Ibuki earlier. However, she didn't know that he hadn't realized. Falling to the floor with a love-struck expression, she admitted that when she said, "Let's play together forever," she actually had confessed her love for him, and was love dreaming about if she could marry him. Rolling around on the floor like a cat in heat, Nakajima admitted that she wants to kiss Ibuki lots, and that makes her a certified pervert, stunning Ibuki. Ibuki couldn't believe his ears and was shocked to his core. He didn't know it was a confession, and realized that she saw him in a romantic light rather than just as friends. He had always seen her as a friend only, a precious one at that. But now he suddenly found out how she really felt, and it really overwhelmed him. Entering the kitchen, Ibuki faced a new problem. His family had just heard everything that he had heard. Ibuki went pale as the situation fully dawned on him, and his family asked if he was making moves on a child, as Nakajima's Japanese was just that elementary. However, Ibuki instantly denied it and tried to explain the situation. Despite the pair of them being able to fall into the same old vibe they had going, a new vibe was also growing. And Ibuki didn't know how to handle it all he could do was listen to Nakajima saying that she loved him over and over. As Ibuki questioned how he was supposed to keep up and survive this constantly changing situation, his parents decided to call the police on their child, who they suspected of doing evil things, leaving Ibuki the only choice but to spend the rest of the day clearing up the situation.